There'll be like no higher levels of poverty. There's going to be like
So
crime.
you
is
don't
going
want to
be
drive
occurred.
down to London because of the poverty.
Yes, and crime. No, it's just there's going to be a
I
lot
hate to
more.
break to you, Wayne, but there was poverty in London before the coronavirus.
No, but there's going to be a lot more shit kind of like that come out of this. There'll be a lot more kind of control, a lot more policing. Travel is going to be harder to do. It's going to be harder staying over. Kind of like there'll be a lot more restrictions and things in
I know
place.
there'll be a lot of
It will not be an enjoyable.
I don't want to drive to
thing.
London because of the poverty.
Not because of the poverty. You're misunderstanding things because you're retard.
Aren't you lovely?
Yes,
But no,
yes.
it is a shame because like we were saying we had like tickets to Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy. They were doing one tour together. We had My Chemical Romance, and as I said, like there was ELO tickets. I was going to go with the family to that. So we had a couple, and
There was the podcast.
Oh, and we also had a podcast, Welcome to Nightfield, we're going to go see.
Which I'm really disappointed about.
Yeah, but I'd say none of those are going to go ahead now. But it is annoying the way Ticketmaster went. Oh, we only give refunds on cancelled shows, and all the artists are obviously not going to try cancel it because they're like, let's see if we can get these in under the wire. Obviously, but it's skeezy on their part because. In my regards, anyways, like I'm fine for it. Like, but there are a lot of people who would have like had these concerts booked now, and like this massive downturns happen. And they're like, you know what? I could really use this €200 I was going to pay for a concert.
Exactly, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. We're actually like really kind of jammy at the moment in the fact that we didn't book any accommodation.
Oh yeah,
and
Exactly,
our,
same.
friends of ours did. And to be honest, the only reason that we didn't book accommodation is because we're lazy. And we were like, we'd be grand, we'll do it. And our friends were like, oh, you should book. And we were like, we'll just
you
do it
might get
closer to
it.
the time.
You want to bet?
And then the minute this happened, the two of us just looked at each other and went, yeah, we're lucky. We're really lucky.
Well,
Good
this
thing
is
we
the
knew
thing.
with that coronavirus before.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing that's going to happen as well. After like a lot of hotels and things aren't going to survive this. So what you're going to have happen is there's going to be fewer places around that are going to be charging more. So like the whole kind of like thing of traveling and getting to gigs further away, it's going to be more of a strain and a lot harder and more expensive. Where you're just going to go.
Is going to be because airlines are going to. I'd say airlines.
they're going to collapse.
Airlines are going to shut down as well.
Well, like when we go
can we
to.
have a bailout? It's like don't you operate in other than like the Cayman Islands? Yeah, but. Not really. It's like, well, you chose to fucking be a tax dodge. Now you get no money. Well,
like
I think America's doing it, but Poland and what was it? There was another country that I think it was like one of the Scandinavian countries just went to all the people who were doing like tax dodging that way. It's like you can fuck off. You're not getting bailed out.
Yeah, that's right. But
fair
like, I mean, even the whole thing with it, like, I mean, say when we've gone to gigs down in London, because London, like, I mean, they're sometimes they're kind of bigger gigs or weirder gigs. There's an awful lot of people from Germany and Spain and France come over. That's gone.
Yeah, that's the
when
only
I
all the
was
gigs
traveling
we've gone to down in London. It's very international audience tend to come along, and any hotels we've been staying in, it's been as you said,
Big
it's
into
just
that
a lot
because
of
it's like
Spanish
it's
and a
cheap.
lot
Like
of
you could get
French,
like flights from fucking France for like 20-30 quid, like sometimes.
Yeah, like Ryanair, especially at this height, like it's like if you don't really mind where you're going, you can get a return flight, or you could before this get a return flight for less than it would be to buy like a takeaway. And what I found really funny when I was traveling around Europe a while back, I was traveling around for a couple of weeks, but there was a lot of people who'd like be just flying over for a long weekend. Like they go, oh, I was never in Paris before, or X before, or Y. And it's like, and I saw that it was super cheap, so I booked the cheapest hostel I could, the cheapest flights I could, and flew over and back, and it cost them maybe €100. And that was also for their lunch and dinner there as well.
I feel so sorry for bands like now because it's like, I mean, there's an awful lot of people that make a living from music, and it's like they're not getting support by the fucking government.
No,
not that the government are really fucking supporting people anyway. But it's like, I mean, it is a time I think when people need to.
Yeah,
really kind of like
they need to look hard at the artists that they really like and that they enjoy, and that they've gotten a lot of enjoyment over the years from certain artists. And if they actually want to continue getting enjoyment from those artists, they need to think about how they want to continue to support them so that they will continue to get enjoyment from
Well, it's the thing that cracks me up. I didn't really like, I mean, someone was saying that they go to cinema at least once or twice a week. As a couple they go, and it normally costs them about 50 to 60 quid each time they go, because it's nearly 17 quid for a ticket to it now. But at the same time, they'll never buy music. where it's like you could buy like 3 albums a week,
easy
for that, you know, for that, and that, like, I mean, it's not, and then as well, you have to kind of like watch where that's why I like buying stuff from Bandcamp or artists, so because they get
go direct
the
to
money,
the artist,
with it, as well, you get something like really, really good for it.
Indeed. Which is why, I mean, going back to the whole live streaming thing, it's not exactly ideal, but I would be happy to throw a tenner to a band or something like that to do a live stream, because we go directly to a band.
I know we all need kind of pick-me-ups at the moment, and, you know, we are lucky to be in an age where we're so connected. You know,
that's it. I mean, if this happened even 15 years ago or something like that, jeez, we'd all be fucked. You'd all be just sitting looking at a fucking blank wall going, this is fucking awesome, isn't it?
Well, if we didn't have the kind of like the internet and all that, it would, like, they couldn't have done the lockdown. It just physically wouldn't have been feasible, because like the economy is severely locked down, but at least it can push along
in a certain sense.
Exactly. People can continue to work from home.
Reduced way, but at least some way. If it was like at the time with Spanish flu, like they probably were like, it'd be ideal if we could lock down, but that's not an option we have. Let's just hope it burns itself out and kills only a few people.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just hope it takes out the sick and the weak and the old, and not too many of the sort of the working population.
But speaking of that, we were looking at a documentary about
death.
A band called Death.
So
which were basically kind of like one of the founders of death metal. I know you're not going to have any interest in like the music and stuff, but if you get a chance, you should check out the documentary, because it starts off very, very dry, but it gets very, very good and not so much funny, I'd say, but it's just
humorous,
weird.
Is it just just a documentary about death metal?
No, the band is called Death. He started off with the death metal, but they were like 16 or 17 when they got fucking signed. It was crazy. But it's basically one guy really had the band, Chuck Schuldiner, and it's kind of like following. He died in 2001, I think it was, but it was kind of like following his kind of like version, and he was kicking people in out of the band and bringing people in and all that. But it's actually an interesting, if you're into band documentaries, not like just death metal, because it's not so much about the music as it is just about band dynamics, and one person's
vision
drive,
of where he wanted to go with his
Okay.
Indeed. Yes.
So what have you been watching with the lockdown?
Not a lot, to be honest, because, you know, with us both still being able to work and
I'm kind of
you
like
studying and stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work at the moment, because even with the lockdown, my college work is still going ahead, so it's just kind of crunch time for me. So the only things I'm getting, like, I'm less devoted to kind of shows and whatnot, because I'm saying I'll leave those off for the time being, because I'll have like all of summer then open where I can, you know, relax and catch up on all these things. So at the moment it's watching less kind of strong things like the Joe Rogan podcast or whatnot. The only kind of long form thing that I'm still working my way through is the Wheel of Time audiobooks.
How many times is this set you after either reading it or kind of consuming it in some way?
I read through it to I was going to say to the Wolves of Calla, but that's fucking the Dark Tower. To Lords of Chaos, which is, I think, book 6 or 7 of a 13 or 14 book series. And it'd been such a long time that when I started rereading them, or kind of getting back into it, I said, I'm not going to jump into where I was, because I remembered vaguely, but it's very vague, so I got back into it, and I'm glad I did, because I knew the general gist of it, but there was even things that like I just kind of overlooked or just had forgotten about. So it's a great series, one of the best fantasy series I've ever read. I definitely recommend it. The
show that is coming out soon, isn't it?
It's doing enough anyway now. It's in the works still. Well, it was in the works still before this by Amazon, so it should go ahead anytime. Like, it should go ahead soon enough, but it probably like a little bit like postponed, kind of like the way they decided to postpone the very last episode of Supernatural indefinitely.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't even interested in it. I just want to see how it ends.
That's the thing. That's I think everyone is just at that point, I don't know, where it's just like
how many episodes? Bloody hell!
But no, like that's the main thing I'm looking through anyway. Myself is
I'm just slowly making my way through the Sky Movies because we subscribed to it.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, been watching like Disney movies and Pixar movies, and I was watching Ratatouille the other night.
Ratatouille.
So, yeah, I'm gonna watch Lion King, Pocahontas, and Beauty and the Beast this weekend.
Oh, you should just get on. If you like the Disney stuff, you should just get the Disney Plus.
I know. I got a really good deal on our Sky account, so I said I may as well.
Because I think the Disney Plus is like £50 for the year.
Yeah, that is really good.
We might get that next. It was just like because it was just the main one was it like it had a nice mix of like just more recent movies. Like we also watched Detective Pikachu very recently.
And that was so good.
Like
It's brilliant, isn't it? And like I'm not a Pokemon
really
fan, but I thought it was really, really good.
I
It's
wouldn't
really
be a mad
kind of
Pokemon fan either now, but just it reminded me of like snippets of my childhood, and it was just really fun.
Yeah, and also it's just kind of a Ryan Reynolds vehicle, so it's just kind of fun. Like it's the same thing when you look at like Deadpool. It's the same thing. It's like when you even look at Van Wilder, and it's the same like that new movie that is supposed to be coming out, Free Guy. Now that one I'm not sure about. Like it looks like
the game. He's like a fucking.
An NPC that kind of goes, today I'm not going to do this. Like, it looks like it might have a decent premise, but I have a funny feeling that what we've seen in the trailer is pretty much going to be the highlights of it.
I hate when movies do that, though.
Like, I don't mean like that they've ruined this plot. I mean like that's going to be the funnier part, and then everything else is just going to be
meh.
Yeah.
We did watch one movie there the other week that I've seen twice, I think, and Mark had never seen before. Up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the thing with the balloons and the old man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
Stuff like that wouldn't really be.
But
Our wheelhouse kind of.
I did enjoy it, I have to say.
I can appreciate Pixar, but.
When you just said that, it just reminded me. What we also saw was Shazam.
Yes, that was unreal.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
oh
that
my
was
God,
good.
It was fantastic.
Zachary Quinto. Is it Zachary Quinto? Or is that
No, Zachary Quinto is Spock. It's Zachary LeVay, is it? Or Levy?
Levan?
Yeah. Something like that. Anton LaVey,
yeah. He starts playing synths in the middle of it.
Circus music.
But like it's just a really funny movie, and I think between that one. Now you could see they were trying to reboot the DC extended universe into it, with like Superman coming at the end, and they're talking about like Batman and all that. But I think they do a better job just to either use that as a starting point and do a slow extended universe like they did with Iron Man. And go, wait, this is a good one.
I don't think they're going to do any extended universe the way that they're talking.
I don't think so either. But if they were going to, I think they should restart it and just have that as the start, or just do what they do like with the Joker, where they're just standalone ones.
Yeah, I'd say they're good because that's where DC have always stood out, kind of like with it, where it's standalone. So, and DC have always been a thing because like it's run by artists as well. It's people that are artists kind of like generally work their way up to become like the heads of the organisation. They did a good job with the kind of merging universes to a degree was with the CW one. Now the CW shows aren't great like the best adaptations of comic books of all time, but they're solid enough and they mixed them well enough together, like they slowly integrated this part here with this part here, and then they were like, okay, well, why isn't it here? Like, all different universes and whatnot, which kind of pays homage to the DC 52 universes that they had originally, and so it was good in that regard. Now, what I think you can see at first they had no interest in doing that. That came later because the first thing was like, I'm the Green Arrow and I'm going to get vengeance and sleep with a different woman every week. Actually what we saw there before I forgot about was Birds of Prey.
I haven't seen that yet.
No, me neither.
Is it any good?
It was okay.
Meh.
Because we're taking turns at picking
it was going to be
movies.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like really, really bad because the trailer made it look actually way worse than it is. Fucking what's his name? Ewan McGregor is brilliant in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the other characters don't get too much time in it. I think the Black Canary and all that, and Huntress only kind of really gets a bit of showtime near the end of it, and then it gets very generic. But it's
It's okay.
It's not as bad as
soundtrack
I think it's going to be.
helps.
Yeah, the soundtrack was good. And
as we mentioned.
You're really selling me on it.
Yeah.
some of the violence in it was really, really, really good.
Yeah, music and violence, awesome. Everything
Actually,
else,
really super violent.